this just has to be challenging for Nick Nurse. Like, you
Sure.
know, James is such a unique piece that like you either, you build your offense around him, or if he's not there, it's like a completely, different ecosystem. And he's trying to implement, Nick Nurse stuff. And I mean, I don't know, you were there. Like,
Listen,
is he
he's
is he implementing it like, yeah, our core is James Harden and Joel Embiid, or is it like, nah, nah.
he's you're right. His job is so interesting right now. He's implementing a bunch of movement stuff on the offensive end, a bunch of, really anti James Harden stuff and really anti Joel Embiid stuff for what he typically loves. Just, let me just get down on the block and go to work, or give me that rock and let me do it. And Nick is trying to put his system in. And you talk about a challenging star duo to manage. You've got the James situation where, Nick is being asked obviously every single day that he talks about how did James look? Where's that situation at? The Embiid stuff. And I know we got to get off the Sixers at some point. I don't want to get too in the weeds, but guys, the Sixers go to Colorado. And my main question that I wrote about a few days ago was why the hell are they in Colorado? Didn't make any sense to me. It's Colorado State University is where it's at in Fort Collins. So I talked to Nick just very directly, like, why are you guys here? And ultimately find out from him and other people that it's basically threefold. For one, the cliche but true reason of team bonding, get them away from Philly. There's value to that. Cool, great, sounds good. Secondly, altitude, want to push them and to train in the altitude 5,000 feet above sea level. Okay, that has more nuance. Joel Embiid hasn't played in Denver since 2019. This is something that Nick Nurse is well aware of. It's something that Joel has taken a lot of criticism for because the perception is that for one reason or another, the accusation, I guess, you've been quote unquote ducking Nikola Jokic. And so the idea that Nick Nurse picked Colorado right out the gate for me was like, man, this is some Ted Lasso type stuff almost. Like you're just trying to, kind of troll potentially. That's probably a little strong, but anyway, the altitude is part of it. And then well, I guess I gave the third reason already is the Jokic factor, the Nuggets, and he flat out said like this: the title goes through Colorado, and that's the message he wants to send to his guys. So Nick comes in with this mentality of we want to win a championship, and I'm going to do these unorthodox things by taking camp to Colorado with that idea in mind. But you got a sticky situation with James to navigate through all that. You got Joel, who by the way they go to dinner with Deion Sanders in Boulder, and I'm sure you guys saw the video. You got Deion Sanders, Colorado Buffaloes men's football coach, telling Joel and telling the whole room that in today's NBA you got too many players who are trying to duck the smoke and not playing in the big games. And I'm just looking at all this going, man, like, standing ovation, Nick Nurse, because you got the no other way of saying it, kind of the balls to start taking Joel on head on. Like, Joel, this is what I need. I'm trying to motivate you, trying to push you with all these different coaching tactics, and then figure out, is James Harden here? Is he not? So yeah, Nick's got his hands full for sure.
Well, what else does Nick Nurse love to do? Loves to play his starters a gazillion minutes. Go look at the minutes leaders last year and
Yeah.
see all Raptors at the top of minutes per game. It's a great point by Slater on like Nick Nurse having to put together that sort of offense. And on one side, it's a James Harden offense, which needs James Harden type actions that only James Harden can run. And on the other side, it's a completely different type of offense that he's going to have to scheme for. It's a great point. It's totally different. The problem is that Nikola Jokic is probably doing training camp like on a horse in the Himalayas or something. So he's just a
No,
step ahead.
he's in San Diego, Fred. He's in a coastal state of mind,
Man, that's where if I was an NBA player, that's where I'd want my training camp.
Now it is. We'll keep it moving here, but the Joel stuff has been a trip. Like Fred, he Nick is excited about coaching Joel. But you see all these different ways he's pushing him. Like he's publicly called for him to be much more aggressive defensively and specifically. And this is an interesting question just for the basketball community, as we all talk about. I mean, blocks are considered to be wildly overrated, but Nick is telling Joel, just go out there and do your best Matumbo. Like, I want to see you swinging it. He literally the other day somewhat jokingly, said, I want more risky, more reckless. That's what I want out of Joel defensively. So he's pushing him on that end. He wants more alley-oop actions on the offensive end, and he's talked to Joel about that, like just more lobs. And you can see Joel, I'm dying to see where their relationship is at 2 or 3 months from now, because right now I feel like Joel is in kind of just taking it all in mode. So does this propel him to another, individual best season, or, is it something different? But, they've got a whole thing going on right now.